Good morning, class. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of the word voting before. Raise your hand if you've ever voted before, whether it be for a school election or for some activity in class. Okay, thank you for participating. Today, we're going to be talking about the voting process. The essential question today is, what is the process for voting in the United States? Our learning objectives are, by the end of this lesson, you'll be able to describe the typical process of registering to vote and what happens at the polling place. We'll identify the types of choices voters encounter on ballots, and we'll touch base on recall, initiative, and referendum processes. The California state standard that we're working on is History 8.3. Students understand the foundation of the American political system and the ways in which citizens participate in it. The voting experience. On the following slide, we will visit a polling station during the 2016 elections. As you explore, consider how you would feel in this position. What are ways we might improve the voting experience? So please take a look at the picture. Think about what you see. And then I'm going to ask that you turn to your partner and share what you observe about this picture. I'll give you 1 minute to do that. All right, class. Let's go ahead and continue the lesson. Who would like to share what they observed about this picture? Okay, yes, I do see a long line of people waiting, some people with disabilities. It looks like it's evening time, so it might be after work hours. It's a very tedious process, I see. Okay, so how would you feel waiting in the voting line? What implications might this have on who actually ends up voting in elections? Class, do you think that because of the long line, it might deter people from going to vote? Please share your thoughts with your table group. Okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts with your table group. Would anyone like to share how they feel about waiting in a long voting line? Thank you. So why Tuesday? Every election year, Americans vote on the first Tuesday after the first Monday of November. Why? Watch the video on the following slide to find out. See if you can guess before it is revealed. This video covers why Americans vote on Tuesday. After the students watch the video, I have them summarize what they observe, what implications it means to vote on Tuesday, what they can conclude about it. Okay. Do you think the voting day should be changed to the weekend? Be prepared to explain your answer. Turn to your partner and share your thoughts with your partner. As a class, we'll discuss this. What harm could voting on a Tuesday cause? Think about why some people would not or could not vote on a work or school day. How do you think that this affects voter turnout? How many people go to vote? Continuing with our lesson, we will learn how to register to vote and the process by which you can make your voice heard. You'll also learn about the different things you will vote on and about special votes that aren't the same as your typical presidential or congressional votes. So let's read. Casting your vote. On the following slide, you will read about how to register to vote as well as the procedures you have to follow in order to cast your ballot. Afterwards, you will see an example of a party column ballot, an example of an office block ballot. So there's 4 groups. I would like the first group to read the first paragraph, Democracies Need Voters. And the second group to read Get Registered. The third group to read the mechanics of voting. And the fourth group to read ballot format. The directions are on the board, but I'll go ahead and let you know that all I'm asking is that you read the sections that I assigned to you, and then you are going to summarize what you read and share it with the class. While the class is reading, I pull a small group in the back of the room, and we will do a little brainstorming together on voting, why voting matters, who can vote, when, where, and how to vote, and decisions voters make. Front loading, allowing for students that need additional assistance to ask questions, giving some background information. Let's learn about candidates and special ballots. Power to the voters. On the following slide, you will read about elections and votes that are not for the presidency, but rather for state and local governments and laws. Recall. Raise your hand if you've heard the word recall on the news. All right. We're going to discuss, is recall a good idea? There's a lot of debate about whether voters should be able to recall elected officials. What do you think? First, let's look at the pros and cons. Recall pros. Elected officials will do a better job. Voters have a way to get rid of elected officials who aren't doing a good job. More people pay attention to important issues during a recall election, and elected officials will pay more attention to what voters want. Now, the cons are elected officials may be afraid to take a necessary action that is unpopular. People in one political party might use a recall election to get rid of a politician from the other party. Wealthy interest groups can stir voter anger when there isn't really a problem, and elections can be expensive. So I have a graphic organizer with these ideas, your handout. I want you to review and make a list for recall pros and a list for recall cons. Go ahead and do that. I'll give you 5 minutes to work on that. All right. Now that you have your list for your pros and cons of what you want to use, do you think recalls are helpful or harmful? Explain in your own words. You have your exit ticket, the 3x5 on your card. In order to exit this class today, you will have to write a paragraph on what you think about recalls. Is it helpful or harmful? Explain it in your own words. Thank you. Have a good day.